And right here in this pot, I am just cooking some prosciutto di Parma in a little bit of butter. I want to get this crispy because the first thing we're going to make for you today is a sauce for tagliatelle. And to do it, you really have to start with making the prosciutto nice and crispy. Okay, so now my prosciutto seems to be just where I want it. And I want to add some aromatic vegetables to this. So we've got 1 carrot that we've diced up and some celery. So I'm going to add that now to the pan. This is really a very quick sauce for pasta. So we want to stir that around and let that cook. I'm going to give this just a little pepper. I'm not going to give it salt just yet. I'll do that at the end. And here is tagliatelle already prepared that you can buy in the grocery store. This is spinach tagliatelle, and this is just plain. Now, tagliatelle is the word that they use if you're in the Emilia-Romagna region. However, if you were in Florence or Tuscany, this same cut of pasta would be called fettuccine. So it just depends on where you are in Italy as to what the same cut of pasta will be called. So we want to cook that. So to do it, we need to have a nice big pot of boiling water. And we're going to put about 1 pound of the tagliatelle right in the pot. And then all I want to do is give that a stir, my trusty pasta fork. And I'm going to put the cover back on this until it comes to the boil. And then I'll take it off, and we want to cook that just until it is al dente. Okay, so back to the prosciutto sauce. So now for this, I like to have some tomato. And here you have options. You can either have fresh plum tomatoes, and those are always nice if they're in season. If they're not in season, forget it and use canned plum tomatoes. But I'll also show you a little trick that I use if tomatoes are not exactly sweet enough, because I really like this sauce to have a little bit of a sweet flavor. So you can either use plums, and I like to make this in the summertime when I get a lot of tomatoes out of my garden, or buy good canned plum tomatoes. So let's put that in. You need about 2 cups of tomatoes, and here are some canned tomatoes, so I'm going to add that. And that's going to be enough for our pound of tagliatelle. So we want to mix this around. I'm going to put a cover on this now and let this cook for about 20 minutes. This sauce doesn't take really a long time to do, so you could actually do this ahead of time. If you want to do it the day before, you could do that and have the sauce ready. And then that little trick that I was telling you about, I love to add just a dash of balsamic vinegar. Now, I'm not using balsamic vinegar tradizionale. I'm using balsamic vinegar commerciale, which is a young balsamic vinegar, and it's okay in cooking because you would never want to use the really aged balsamic to cook with. That is really more a flavor enhancer. But this will do the job of getting these tomatoes a little bit sweeter tasting. All right, so it's smelling really good. I wish you could smell that balsamic vinegar. I'm going to put the cover on this now and let that go for about 20 minutes. Back to the pasta pot. Now it is boiling. We want to give this a stir just to loosen up all of that pasta. And you notice I'm doing plain and spinach because I like that color combination together. So we're going to let that cook. We're going to take the pasta out, and we're going to put it right in the pan that we cooked the sauce in. So let's take it out, draining off most of the water, being careful not to spray the stove too much. That was 1 pound. And leaving a little water on to help you mix that with the sauce. So in it goes. Whoa, and it fits just perfectly. We stir this around. And I think the best thing to have with this is another fabulous product that comes from the region of Emilia-Romagna. And that is grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. and you see those nice two colors of the plain and the spinach pasta, well then you want to put that onto a nice serving dish. And look at that. Prosciutto, tomatoes. Doesn't that look beautiful? A little sprinkling of Parmigiano Reggiano, and I'm in Emilia Romagna again.